Attention passionate Green Bay Packers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Green Bay Packers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Green Bay Packers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Green Bay Packers fans. Let's get to the news. If there's one thing that's been making waves in the NFL lately, especially among Packers fans, it's what's happening at the wide receiver position. You see, the Green Bay Packers, a team with such a storied history of developing and nurturing talent, are now facing a significant shift in their receiver core. And it's not just about the game plans or the plays. It's about the business side of things, the contracts, the player movements, and what this means for the team's future. Recently, the Packers made a surprising move that's left many fans talking: the extension of Christian Watson. That's right, Watson, who's been recovering from a torn ACL, has just signed a one-year extension worth over $13 million, keeping him under contract through 2026. This isn't just a small deal. It signals a lot about how much the Packers value him, especially considering his injury history. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. What does this mean for Romeo Doubs? Well, that's where things get really interesting. Because with Watson's new contract, it looks like the Packers are gearing up for some tough decisions, and unfortunately, it seems like Doubs might be the odd one out. It's a scenario that's been brewing under the surface for a while. The team has limited cap space, and with Watson locked in for the next few years, the front office has to make smart moves. They've invested heavily in Watson, who's shown flashes of brilliance when healthy, and now locking him down long-term makes it clear that he's a key part of their plans. But let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture. Christian Watson's deal, especially coming after his injury, is a clear sign of how much the Packers believe in his potential. He's a dynamic receiver, with speed and size that can stretch defenses, and when he's on the field, he's a game changer. The fact that they signed him to this extension now, even during his recovery, shows a lot of confidence. It indicates that they see him as part of their core moving forward, especially for their Super Bowl ambitions. It's a bold move, and it's definitely a statement from GM Brian Gutekunst and the coaching staff about their priorities. Now, this directly impacts Romeo Doubs, who has been developing nicely and has shown that he can be a reliable target. Remember, last season he led the team in receiving yards in a game against the Detroit Lions, catching 2 passes for 68 yards, which is no small feat. Doubs has that underrated quality. He's dependable, he's explosive, and he's shown flashes of becoming a true number 1 receiver someday. But here's the thing: contracts, cap space, and team direction, they all play a crucial role. And the latest reports suggest that multiple NFL teams have already reached out to the Packers to inquire about Doubs' availability. Some have even made offers, according to sources like Easton Butler from Packer Report. And let's not forget, last month, head coach Matt LaFleur was quick to shut down trade rumors, emphasizing that Doubs wasn't going anywhere. But as we all know, in the NFL, things can change rapidly. LaFleur's words might be true now, but the reality is that the Packers are in a different position. They recently traded away 2 future first-round picks, which signals that GM Brian Gutekunst isn't afraid to make bold moves if it benefits the team in the long run. Trading Doubs could net them valuable draft capital, especially if they see a player with more immediate needs, or if they feel the cap space is better allocated elsewhere. And it's worth noting, this is an all-in season for the Packers. They're in the hunt, they're fighting for a playoff spot, and they're trying to maximize their roster for a Super Bowl run. Losing a player like Doubs mid-season isn't ideal, but if an offer comes that's too good to refuse, it could happen. It's a tough pill to swallow for fans who see Doubs as a rising star, but the business side of football often makes these decisions. Plus, the fact that the Packers are now more limited in cap space after signing Watson and giving contracts to other young talents like Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Matthew Golden, and Savion Williams. That's a clear sign that they're prioritizing their core, and Doubs might be the odd man out. Interestingly enough, despite all this talk about trade rumors, Doubs might actually be leading the team in receiving yards this season. That kind of reliability keeps a player like him in the conversation, and it's a testament to his talent and work ethic. But as we've seen before in Green Bay's recent history, the team's decisions are often shaped by the bigger picture. Contracts, cap space, draft strategy, these are the factors that influence who stays and who goes. And with Watson locked in long-term, the writing seems to be on the wall for Doubs. It's also worth mentioning that Doubs' future in Green Bay is now more uncertain than ever. The team has suspended him for a game last season, reportedly due to his frustration with his role in the offense. That incident might have been a wake-up call, but it also highlights that Doubs is a bit under the radar as a receiver who can be a true difference-maker. The Packers clearly see his potential, but the current roster structure and cap constraints make it difficult for them to keep everyone happy and under contract. Looking ahead, the question isn't just when Doubs might leave, but if he'll stay at all. The team has made a decisive move with Watson, and that leaves the door open for other players to be part of the future, whether through trades or free agency. It's a complex puzzle, but one that's driven by the desire to build a championship-caliber roster amidst the financial realities of the NFL. And for Packers fans, it's a bittersweet moment, seeing a promising young receiver like Doubs potentially heading to another team, while the team aims for another Super Bowl run with their new core. In the end, what does all this mean for the Packers? Well, it's a clear message. They're committed to winning now, and they're willing to make tough decisions to maximize their chances. Christian Watson's extension is a sign of that commitment, and the potential departure of Doubs, if it happens, is just part of the strategic planning. It's a reminder that in the NFL, loyalty and the love for the game are important, but business and winning are what truly drive decisions at the end of the day. The Packers are in a fascinating phase, balancing youth, talent, cap space, and the pursuit of another Super Bowl. So as fans, what should we take away from all this? That the team is always evolving. That the front office is making calculated moves to keep the window open. And that even in the midst of these changes, the passion for the Green Bay Packers remains steadfast. We've seen players come and go, but the spirit of Lambeau Field, the tradition, and the hope for future glory are what keep us glued to our screens. And one thing is for sure, this offseason, with all its twists and turns, has only made the Packers' story more compelling. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Green Bay Packers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Green Bay Packers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these moves? Do you believe Doubs will be traded before the deadline? Or do you think the team will hold on to him and try to re-sign him long-term? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Green Bay Packers. Remember, this story is still unfolding, and I'll be back very soon with more updates. So stay tuned for all the latest Green Bay Packers news. Whether it's roster moves, game analysis, or insider info, we're here to keep you in the loop. Thanks for sticking with us, and as always, go Pack Go!